I saw this really great LinkedIn post from another security founder yesterday that I thought that his thoughts on SIEM and what's happening in the SOC world right now were really great. He was weighing the different architectural models that you can have and kind of talking about what's going to happen with SIEM in the long term. Is it going away or not? And he had kind of four outcomes that he was thinking about. The first was whether or not SIEM is just going to rebrand but stay the same. And so we'll still centralize our logs and store, search, detect, alert, all on those things. And the only difference would be like we rebrand what SIEM is and call it something cooler. Like RunReveal, we tend to sometimes say SIEM is a four-letter word, and we call ourselves a security data platform because we do so much more. And I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think that SIEM is definitely changing. To his first idea about what was happening in the space, I think there's definitely big changes happening right now in the SIEM landscape. The second, though, was is there just going to be these new platforms that just kind of sit on top of SIEMs? So SIEM is it's kind of just this dumb data store, and you kind of create this new place where all the security operations happens. And I think that's an interesting idea. But and one of the things, the subtext there is you might have multiple SIEMs, or you might federate out where the different searches are being done. You go to the data and search it there. I don't think that's what's going to happen. One of the reasons I don't think that is because you end up just paying for too many tools. People don't want to buy 3 or 4 SIEMs and then a fifth thing to sit on top of it and hope that everything works correctly. So I don't think that that's what's going to happen. I don't think that just some duct tape and whatnot on top of your data stores is going to really solve many of the security operations problems that people have. They really need a tool that understands every kind of phase of your detection response program, from data collection to filtering to when things go wrong with a data source breaking, to the different log formats you have and the alerts you're writing and then your cases. So I do think while SIEM is changing, I don't think it's changing so drastically that we're just going to magically put a layer on top and everything's going to work. And then last is his last stance. His second and third stance were very related, where there's just going to be this new layer that kind of sits on top. And last is we're not in the SIEM conversation. Pipeline vendors, data movement specialists, data readiness platforms. His last stance is that maybe you'll have specific data tools, specific. I think it's actually more of the same. His last stance is that the way that people do security, the way that people do security operations isn't going to change that much. In that they still buy several tools where you have your best of breed pipeline vendor, your best of breed SIEM platform, your best of breed SOC platform. And I actually don't think that that's going to happen either. What I see happening in the SIEM landscape is the big vendors in a space, the Splunks, the CrowdStrikes, the Googles, they're trying to bring all of the features under one roof. And RunReveal is trying to do the same thing, where you have a pipeline tool within the SIEM, you have the SOC capabilities on top of it, and they're trying to make a very tight experience. I think that's the direction where everybody's headed, where the past 10 or 15 years, you've seen people do these best of breed type of things, where Cribble came out of nowhere and helped with the pipelining and the data collection, and they actually made a big difference in people's Splunk bills. And then you're starting to see these autonomous SOCs where they sit on top of your data platform and help you with the types of things that analysts are doing. And then there's also at the same time, you're seeing like more insight tools that plug into the SIEM, things like UEBA, all of those things that might have been an add-on to your SIEM, they're all getting put under one roof. And so I see that the way that things are headed is definitely consolidation of this tool set. And I think it does lead to cheaper results and better results. So you don't have to buy five tools, you can buy one, and everything should work very well because it's under one roof. That's where I really see things going, where your SIEM platform is just getting a bunch of upgrades at once, because the past 10 or 15 years we've seen that, it's not enough to just have a data store. So I thought that this was a really good LinkedIn post about the different things that are happening in the SIEM space. And I'll show it off here. It's Gal's post here on LinkedIn. He's from the CEO of Beacon Security. I've met him a few times. Really nice guy. And I don't want to sum up somebody else's company. I think they're mostly in the data pipelining space from the times that I've spoken to him. But I thought his LinkedIn post here was awesome and really did a great job summarizing what people are thinking about in the category.
Yeah, I think that we heard that a lot at RSA is like people or security teams in general are just so done with multiple vendors for basic log management. And this unification, consolidation into one platform is not better, not just better like financially, but workflow wise, you want your AI SOC closer to your data, all that context, etc. So that makes a ton of sense to me.
Yeah. I think the thing it does, kind of having lots of point solution, it does help you buy things,
Hmm.
because it's hard to buy a platform that does everything.
Yeah.
But it's a lot easier for a lot of different companies to tell you that they help you with just the collection or just the operations or just agents. And so it's a lot clearer of a value proposition when you're buying these types of like point solution tools.
Hmm.
But I do think that everything's headed towards, why are you going to buy five things when you could just buy one?
Larger industry question. Do you think that we're going to see like more acquisitions from larger, more legacy security solutions acquiring point solutions, smaller point solution companies?
Oh, yeah. That's been happening since the dawn of time, I feel like, in the security category. But you've definitely seen in the last year some of the large SIM platforms buying things. They haven't really bought that many of the autonomous SOC type of tools. I think that people are just kind of waiting and seeing what happens there and what they want to go acquire. But also
Yeah.
there's a lot of, they're not all the same. So all of these tools hook into different things and have different value props slightly. And so, security is very acquisitive and you never know what's going to happen. But last year was the year of pipeline tools getting bought. We don't really know this year what's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, that's death, taxes, and security acquisitions are the three things that we know are going to happen.
Yeah, I'm curious how like the data warehouses, the data lake providers are going to start approaching this, since they have that foundational data layer. We saw Databricks' announcement during RSA and, building essentially a security arm for their product. I'm sure that trend will continue with Snowflake and, all the other folks if they're able to make that investment.
Yeah, the data lake kind of thing is really interesting because I feel like it's just going back to stance one of rebranding SIEM. I feel like it's just rebranding SIEM, but with a worse platform that's less security centric for
Yeah.
people, where a SIEM has been a data lake. And, most storage is on object storage these days, just like your data lake is. It's really about getting a product that's for security people. So in some ways, this whole like data lake thing is somehow going in reverse a little bit. And then it's going to be like, okay, now we need to pile on all the tools on top of the data lake to make it a security tool.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I
Um,
think that's like one of the things we talk about too is like RunReveal is built for security people by security people. And that's the feedback we often get is like, oh, this feels like it was actually built by a security person. And I don't think necessarily those big like data lake giants have the, bandwidth ability yet to replicate that. Maybe one day we'll see.
yep. But anyways, shout out to Gal. I thought that was a great LinkedIn post. And so appreciate him writing that up.